Hi, everybody. So here are some quick tips and tricks on how to navigate Google Earth and how to add place marks for your final project here. All right. So let me share my screen and show you a few things here. And I got to make my face visible again. Hold on. There we go. All righty. So when you look at your final project, all the information is going to be right here. But basically, you're going to be making a quick tour for your students to explore some of the California geologic or geoscience related features that are within a California state park or a California national park. So that's kind of the general idea. We'll talk about more of the details in class. But here's how you actually use Google Earth. So at the beginning, you'll see there's a link to Google Earth. You click on that. It'll open up a brand new tab for you here that looks a little something like this. I have a lot of projects, so I'm going to close those. Yours will probably look something like this. Just make sure that, let me turn on my thing. Just make sure that you've signed in over on the top hand right side over there to your Google account so it can save things to Google Drives. All righty. So I'll show you how to make a project in just a second, but first you need to kind of see the basics of how to move left and right and up and down. So if you just drag, click on your left mouse button or your mouse pad or your finger, if you're using a tablet, you can drag things left and right, up and down, piece of cake. If you zoom out really far, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that much. But if you zoom out pretty far, you'll see that the cloud layers actually come on that are, just a few hours old, but it's kind of the current events of the clouds forming and happening. So we don't really care about that for right now. But there's a few other things that you might need to know. And if you use your mouse wheel, you can zoom in and out with your mouse wheel, or you can use two fingers to kind of swipe in on your mouse pad or touch screen. And if that doesn't work for you, you can always use on the bottom right-hand side the plus and the minus to zoom in and zoom out as well. Okay. So I'm going to zoom in here just to San Francisco for whatever reason and show you what you can do next. If you want to see a 3D view of everything, all you need to do is click Shift and then left click with your mouse, and you can go around like this. Or most mouses, if you have a mouse wheel, a scroll wheel on it, if you click and hold down the middle mouse wheel, it will also kind of do the same thing without having to push the shift key. So you can just kind of drag left and right and orbit around things. If you hit the control key, I'm not sure what that is for a Mac, but if you hit the control key and then while you're holding that down, move your left mouse button or hold your left mouse button down, you can look left and right and up and down. And it's kind of like if you're just moving your head back and forth, as opposed to if I hold shift like I am right now, rotating the whole entire thing and moving like that. So it's just a couple ways of navigating around and seeing different things. Now, some other things to get familiar with. There's layers. You can turn on clean layers, which means it gets rid of all the borders and labels and stuff like that. I like the exploration version. If you click on everything or custom, you can actually choose what you want displayed and what you don't want displayed. It's up to you. You can see I have the 3D buildings turned on. If I turn them off, doesn't look as interesting and doesn't look as fun. So I always like keeping the 3D on, especially if we're going to Yosemite and places like that. And in a bit, I'll show you this function of time lapse here, which is a pretty cool thing if you're looking at coastal environments or rivers changing, or there's mining or something like that in a nearby area, just to see how things change over time. Okay, so that's kind of how you navigate and get through the different areas. Piece of cake. So now let's say you want to create a new project, which you do because that's what you're going to be turning in for your final. So if you go up to the top left-hand corner, you'll see this thing where it says new. You'll click new, and it says we want to create a new Drive project, which means we want to create this Google Earth project in Google Drive. So it'll automatically save everything. You can just share the link and save the link pretty much like it was just a Google document or something like that. So you hit create. And once you hit the create, then you can edit the title of your project, right? And so-and-so's final project, like so. All right. And then you type in whatever your description is. What is your title, or what is your flight going to be about? What are students going to learn? What's going to be some of the cool stuff there? And once you enter in your details, you click save. And now you're ready to add different things to your tour. Okay, so you take a look, you figure out where you want your tour stops to go, what natural geoscience processes are you going to be talking about within these different national parks or state parks or federal lands, and give it a tour. All right, you want people to fly in and be able to ask questions and wonder and figure out what in the heck's going on. So let's say I want to, just for the heck of it, let's say I want to fly into a cool place that I know about, and let's just say Yosemite. And so if you don't know how to find Yosemite on the map, all you have to do is type in Yosemite, like maybe you want to do Yosemite Valley. So you search for Yosemite Valley, and it'll kind of fly you in and take you to these different positions and at least get you in the ballpark of what we should be looking at here. Okay, and from there, you can kind of zoom in, zoom out, and see different places. Piece of cake. So how do you add these spots to your tour? Well, maybe I want students to be taking a look at Half Dome for whatever reason, okay? So what I'm gonna do then is I am going to put a place mark down so that when people take this tour, they'll fly right into this spot and right into this view and have an idea of what they're looking at, okay? So I'm gonna go up to the top left-hand corner, I'm going to click add place mark, and then you just come add wherever you want that place mark to go. Maybe you want it to be right here. Oops, shoot, let me see here, let me zoom out. Maybe you want it to be right on the top of Half Dome like so. And then we can talk about that a little bit later on as your place mark. So you've added that there. Let me move my face out of the way so you can see a little bit better. And right next to this, we'll call this like stop one. This is going to be stop one of our tour. Okay, so there's stop one. Underneath that, you can add your description all in here like you normally would. Like, what do you want people to do at this stop? What should they see? What should they notice? What do you want people to be doing here? That's where where you'll add the description. You can change the text. You can make it bulleted. You can, give it heading, subheading, things like that. You can change it however you need to, which is a piece of cake. You can also change the icon type. So maybe you want a star, or maybe you want to change and choose from a million of the different varieties that are here. Well, if you want all those different varieties, all you have to do is click on in those icon size, or click on the icon, excuse me, hit more icons, and you'll see there's a bajillion different things to choose from. So I would say don't use all your time looking for the best icon, but that's something you can do. And you can also change the color of the icon. Just click on the paint bucket, and you can make it literally whatever color you possibly dream of or want. You can make it that color, okay? So I've made it that weird color. I don't know why, but that's what we're going with. Then the thing that's really powerful here is not only are you going to give a description, but you can add videos, you can add images and things like that. So maybe if they fly into there, they can see more information about this. So if you click upload file, that's where you will find a bunch of this different stuff. So let me go to my pictures down here. Where are we at? I think it's on this one. Yeah, photos. And so I know where I have some pictures of Half Dome in the background. So I'm going to go over to here. I think it was in November, maybe. Nope, it was in October. Yosemite Half Dome sunset. And I have some pictures that I want to upload. So like this. So I found my picture. I'm going to give it a second. It's going to upload just like that, or it should in a minute. There you go. If you want to add video, I'll show you how to do that in just a second for a different version, all right? So anyways, that's what you do. One of the main key important things about doing this exercise or doing this, what do you call this, this final project in Google Earth is so that people can look and see things in 3D. So just make sure that when you put your place marks on the map, make sure they're showing a 3D view that's really cool and awesome and like draws people in, and it's not just a flat overhead view for most of it, okay? So once you got and figure out where you want your view to be, you go down into the more settings here, you should see this little, if you scroll down, there's this little button right here that says capture this view. If I click capture this view, that means this is what people are going to fly into when they take your tour. This is exactly how it's going to look. Alrighty. And so when you're done with that, you can click view like so, and it kind of gives you an overview of what the stop will look like. And if you click on that, the picture will load and you'll be able to see some big stuff. If you give it it needs a few minutes, but after you upload these images, Google will actually show the higher resolution, fuller resolution a little bit later on. So that's like one stop. Then maybe we want to go down and we want to talk about the flooding in the rivers. I don't know. But probably don't want to talk about the floodings of the rivers because that's something I was talking about. But where we hung out in our field trip, for those of us that went on it this past October, we hung out at Swinging Bridge right down here. So maybe we want to talk about the flooding down here that was happening at Swinging Bridge. So I'm going to add another place mark. I'm going to click right here. Now, you can do one of two things. Maybe you want it to be this 3D view, but it's kind of like, not so great. So if you want it to be like a street view, you click on the little peg person down in the right-hand corner, and then just click one of those blue dots right there. It should pop you into a street view like this. And this apparently was a smoky day, but this is a way to get people to be able to fly in and kind of get a 360 sense of what you're looking at here. You don't have to choose this one. There's lots of other ones that you want. But if you want to add this street view to your project as another stop, like this is what you want people to fly into, then you go down to the bottom left-hand corner, you click capture this view right there, and it will capture that view for you. All right, so when you're done, if you hit exit the photosphere, you'll notice that you have a pin that says untitled street view, like so. So all you need to do is edit that like you would the last one. So we're going to say like Swinging Bridge flood maybe, or stop 2. And at stop 2, we're talking about the Swinging Bridge flood, etc., etc. Okay, so you can pop that in there, piece of cake, maybe just in case. Well, we don't want the camera view to change because we want them to fly into street view. So we can just leave it like that. If you want to add some extra pictures or media or video, like I was telling you about, this is where you would do that too. So I found a quick little video about the flooding that was happening in Yosemite earlier this year. And so what I need to do is I can find my video. I'm going to copy the video URL. That's right there. I'm going to go back to Google Earth, and where it says media, add photo or video link. So you just right click and paste in your link for that video. And voila, you should have the video that's in there. So now when people click on this, it'll open up the YouTube and it'll play an ad apparently. But after the ad is done playing, then it'll play you your stop. Okay. So you would do this like 5 different times. So let's say I'm just going to fly out over to here, talk a little bit something about maybe glaciation in Yosemite. I don't really know, like finding some of the cirques and tarns or something if you're thinking about it. And then so you maybe fly in, you put another point right there, and then you can edit, call it whatever you want right there, piece of cake. So there's that view. And then you can also, it doesn't have to be just a point. If you want, you can also use this little area tool right here, and you can basically start dragging around and make little polygons here. So maybe you want the whole lake to be highlighted or something. Well, once you click on that, it'll tell you some information about it, but you can save it to the project, and that'll become a stop for you as well. And you can change the outline color. You can make it like blue. You can change the infill, so you can make it so there's no infill, or maybe you can make it 100%, so it just covers everything. So it's up to you how you want to use that, what you want to do and highlight things if you want. But let's say this is the view I want people to fly into. So I'm going to click capture that view. If you had more pictures, you could add media there. You would add your description here, just like we did before. Piece of cake. All right. And this is kind of what it would look like when people flew into that, if you wanted to do measurements of some sort. So what does this look like in the end? Well, Oh, you know what? I forgot to show you too. There's one other thing. I asked you to add like a slide to introduce things at the very beginning. So the way you would do that is after I move this thing out of the way, my zoom menu, sorry. You can go into this little, what do you call it right here? The 3 dots, and you want to do a slide. So if you click slide like so, it'll just give you a blank title slide. You can add pictures to the back of these, but those pictures, like, it messes the text up and it doesn't let you see it very well. So here's like the title of my project, Piece of Cake. And then you type in everything that it's about, like what the expectations are, what you want students to do. And it's kind of the introductory thing before they fly in to see the whole kit and caboodle. You can change the background color of that initial slide. So maybe you want it to be blue, pink color, whatever. You can change the text color. And like I said, if you wanted to add an image, you totally can, but it doesn't look super great. So now, over on the left-hand side, the order that these are in on the left-hand side is the order that people will fly through into these. So if you want your title to come first, which it probably should, all you need to do to rearrange it is just pick it, hold down, and you can move it up to the top like so, and it'll rearrange these things like that. So you can rearrange the stops and the numbers as you go. Piece of cake. So when you're all done, if you click Start Slideshow, here's my title slide. And then in the bottom left-hand corner, this is where you can navigate through things. So you can either open that up and choose from stop to stop like this, or you can click through the arrows. And there you go. It flies us down. There's stop 1. And then we fly over here. Here's stop 2. And it flies us into the, what do you call it? The street view. The video is there as well. And then the next one flies us into, maybe it's the cirque we're talking about. And then the next one is the tarn. And I haven't titled these, but you guys can totally do that. And that's how you do stuff. You can put links. Oh, that's what I forgot to mention. Is if you go to your descriptions, you want to edit them again. You just got to exit the slideshow, piece of cake. And then if you want to edit them, you just click on the little tabby doos, hit edit, and you can edit things again. And now here's the other thing. You can type about stuff like, let's say maybe you want to link to a web page or a Jamboard or a Miro board or something like that. Well, you can say like link to whatever. All right. And then all you would have to do is find your link. So maybe my whatever link is the final schedule that I was looking up beforehand. So I'm going to copy my link here, just using this link as a bad example, but you can click plus, you can add your URL right there, or you can actually make links so it jumps around in different parts in the project too. But I'm just going to add that link. So it's a piece of cake. And now if I click view, you'll notice, oh, hey, there's the link to whatever that when you click on it, it'll open up, or should open up, final schedule, the thing that we already linked to. So you can add links within there as well. So those are most of all the features of Google Earth if you've never used it before. And I hope you can come back and use this if you get stuck on something. And if you're really not quite sure, shoot me a Canvas email and I'll let you know. Alrighty. So have a great afternoon.